Welcome to the Family Brand Show. We're Chris and Melissa Smith of FamilyBrand.com, husband and wife, parents of 5, and we want to help you take back your family and to live life on your terms.
And we know being a family can feel really overwhelming. Parents tell us they feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. It's so challenging to navigate the uncertainty and all the chaos that's happening in the world right now.
And that's why we want to bring you every single week actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better parent, to become a better spouse, and to build a stronger family. And look, there's never been a better time and a more important time than right now to take back your family. You can define what your family stands for, or the world is going to do it for you. And the world needs strong families now more than ever. And it starts right here with your family.
Hey, it's Melissa. I just changed my Instagram handle today to Hey Melissa Smith. So that's top of mind. And by the time this is live, this episode, it'll be kind of a couple weeks old news. But if we are not connected on Instagram, go find me at Hey Melissa Smith, because I'll get into this later, but I'm making some big changes over there that I'm really excited about. So I'll talk more about that later. But today, I've kind of had 2 different ideas for content for 2 separate episodes. One is about turning 40 and kind of processing that. And then the other one was these other changes related to the Instagram changes I was just talking about. But I realized I think these are the same episode, just a little mashed up. And so we're going to cover all of it today, starting with turning 40. I've just been sitting with turning 40. So it's been about, what's today? Almost exactly a month ago, I turned 40. And 40 is just one of those big decade milestone birthdays. And actually, it truly wasn't that big of a deal to me. I think I felt older a few years ago, but I read this quote a while back that said, "To grow old is a privilege denied to many." And ever since then, I really have felt that way about turning old. Like, what a privilege it is to have another year to live your life and live your dreams. And so turning 40 has not been bad at all for me. In fact, I think my biggest thing to process was, I think it did make me aware, turning 40, of friendships as much as anything, and like the relationships in my life. And I had this kind of funny moment where, for some reason, many people were turning 40. Many women seem to be turning 40 that I know the same month as me, whether I know them in person or through social media. And they would, I'm probably like 2 or 3 women, but a lot of them are posting about, these big birthday celebrations they had and all these things that they did. And when I saw that, it really did create in me this comparison. And it was kind of funny to watch my brain do this. I mean, it's funny now. At the moment, it didn't feel funny, but I realized that I want to matter to people. Like, I wanted to have a good birthday. I wanted to feel celebrated, but I basically told Chris, I don't want to party. And I had been planning for years that I would go to a resort just by myself. I had a friend, maybe 6 years ago, she turned 40. She lives in Florida. She flew all the way to Arizona to stay in like a wellness resort in Tucson. And I thought that was brilliant. And so I told Chris then, that's what I want to do for my 40th. So we kind of been planning that. And that's the thing what we would do for my birthday is I would do that. But then when it came also down to it, we're building a house, and I felt like I couldn't justify me going to a resort and spending the money there when we have so many things that we're paying for the house. So I said, I'll just go later. I'm going to be 40 for a whole year, so I have time to do that. Let's focus on getting the house built first. And so between me changing the plan last minute and telling him not to host a party, basically we had no plans for my birthday. And that started kind of, 10 days before my birthday. I felt like, we're not going to do anything for my birthday. I'm not going to feel celebrated. I'm not going to feel special. And that was kind of making me feel sad. And it was interesting, though, to really see, like, okay, are there relationships that I want to be more intentional? Do I want to spend more time like fostering friendships? Because sometimes I feel like I don't. And so that was a kind of a cool, an interesting thing to get to examine as I turned 40. We did rally. I had a great birthday. And I had so many beautiful people who reached out to me and told me happy birthday. And I did feel super loved and cared for. And in fact, I have my journal here. Actually, on my birthday, my body just kind of woke up early, and I'll just read it. So it says, I woke up at 5:20 thinking about my day and decided to just get up and get the party started. Starting off with a bath, some oracle cards, and now writing in my journal. I pulled the most beautiful card today. It says, you are more held than you could possibly imagine, loved and cherished so dearly that if you knew, you would not spend 1 second of your life in separation, worry, or fear. And that was such a beautiful, beautiful way to start my birthday. And it felt like almost a direct answer to kind of that fear that I expressed earlier on in the month about just wanting to feel cherished. And I think we all are cherished, whether even if I would have gotten 0 people telling me happy birthday that day, we are all loved and we are all cherished in our own unique ways. And that was cool to realize that day. And okay, another interesting thing. So I went with some friends to go see the movie It Ends With Us. This was like right before my birthday as well. And in that movie, if you it has Blake Lively in it. Which I don't think I've ever seen her in a movie before. I'm not like a huge moviegoer, but I went to this movie. I watched Blake Lively, and I thought that she was so beautiful, like in that whole the whole movie. Like so beautiful, and she was like sexy and cute. And after the movie was over, I looked up like how old is Blake Lively, and I realized she's 37. I was like, and she's still such a babe. I can still be a babe at 40. Like, why do sometimes my brain thinks that like you're getting so old? Like, I'm like, I still got it. 37 for her, 40 for me is not that old. So that was kind of a funny little mind shift as well. I'm just like so young still, right? So yeah, I'm loving being 40. But one thing that I want to change turning, as I enter my next decade, well, I've heard this from people a lot, that from women in particular, that as you get older, like 40 and beyond, you start caring less and less about what other people think. And, when I would hear that, I would think, I definitely want that for me, because as much as I don't want to admit it, like I do care what people think. I think if you've ever taken an Enneagram test, I'm an Enneagram 9, and Enneagram 9's like, they want peace and they want everyone to get along. And I think part of me caring what other people think has something to do, a little bit at least, to do with that. And so as when I would hear people say that, I was like, I want that for me. I want to care less as I get older and just to feel free to live more authentically me. And a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go to a breathwork session. And in the middle of the breathwork session, the facilitator, she said, notice your body. Like, how is your body responding to this breath work? Is there anywhere where you feel like you're holding tension or it feels tight? And as I sat there, I felt like, you know what? I am feeling kind of tight. If I'm feeling tight anywhere, it's in my chest. And she, kind of led you through this process and just asked the next question, which was like, and like check in, like, why is that? Like, why are you feeling tightness there? And, of course, she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to everyone. But as I internalized it, I kind of asked myself that question. And the thought that came to me was, I want to live like more open-heartedly, or as Brene Brown says, more wholeheartedly, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But it has been really cool experience the next couple of weeks after that to really lean into that and be like, what would living more open-heartedly look like or feel like? And I've realized I think it would be a little less of like living in my head, a little less examining things, a little bit more trusting myself, what the decisions I'm making, and the things that I'm doing. And a couple of those things, the way that it's looked like for me, have been there's been a couple of things that I've wanted to do for a long time. One of which is putting on a masterclass for you all, for the family brand community. Second of which is, for the last year at least, I've wanted to change my Instagram name. or handle. And when I would think about doing it, it would always just feel like really scary and I'm not ready. And but what about this and what about that? And I realized living more open-heartedly would be like, yeah, bring it. Like let's just do it and let's just figure it out. It might not be perfect, but let's just figure it out. And so I guess that brings me to my new Instagram name, which is just Hey Melissa Smith. I wish Melissa Smith would have been available, but when your name is Melissa Smith, you have to get a bit creative. And so it's Hey Melissa Smith. And I just feel like, I had a friend ask me earlier this year, she said, who's Melissa Smith? We were kind of getting to know each other. And she's like, who is Melissa Smith? And I thought, like, what a great question. I didn't even know how to answer that question because I could talk about, this thing or that thing. Like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have a podcast, but is that really who Melissa Smith is? And as I've looked at my Instagram, which is the handle had been Our Family Brand, which I basically just posted all things family brand, how to build and strengthen your family, which I love. But I'm like, I don't feel like it's authentically me. There's so much more to me than just this business called Family Brand and how to build and strengthen families. And I want to bring more of that to the world around me and feel more freedom around sharing authentically who I am. And I think in the past, I've been worried that, well, you hear from Instagram professionals, coaches, they say to choose a niche and you post in that niche and you don't waver because people need to know like what to expect when they come to your page. And I think I've shied away from posting extra stuff because I have a lot of varied interests and things that I like doing, such as I homeschool and, we love to travel and I love real estate investing. And of course, I am a wife and a mother. But some people create entire pages around family travel. Some people create entire pages around homeschooling. We're building a house and home decor. I love that kind of stuff. People create entire pages around that as well. And I haven't wanted it to feel like a big jumble of random things. But I'm just going to go with it because I love all of those things and all of those things make me happy. Oh, I also love cooking. So maybe I'll throw some good food up there sometimes. And so, but I have shied away because I have like this, if I did that, it would be so random and people wouldn't know what to expect. But maybe what to expect is just a woman who has many different sides to her, who isn't just this one-dimensional business owner. But I think that's real. I think that's what all of us are. None of us are one-dimensional. We're dynamic and creative and brilliant in our own ways. So I'm excited to share that with you over on Instagram. And then lastly, I want to talk a smidge more about this idea of wholehearted living that I've been kind of playing with in my mind. And I found this thing from Brene Brown. She has a book called The Gifts of Imperfection, which I have read in the past. I really should revisit because I remember it being so good. But she talks about the importance of living wholeheartedly and living in imperfection. And she calls this the 10 guideposts for wholehearted living. So there's 10 things to let go of and 10 things to cultivate. And I thought these were really beautiful. So starting with letting go of what people think and cultivating more authenticity. Letting go of perfectionism and cultivating self-compassion. Letting go of numbing and powerlessness and cultivating a resilient spirit. Letting go of scarcity and fear, cultivating gratitude and joy. Letting go of the need for certainty and cultivating intuition and trusting faith. Letting go of comparison and cultivating creativity. And that one feels big for me right now with my new Instagram changes. I'm excited to be just creative with all of it. Letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth, and cultivating play and rest. Letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle, and cultivating calm and stillness. Letting go of self-doubt and supposed to, and cultivating meaningful work. Letting go of being cool and always in control, and cultivating laughter, song, and dance. Doesn't that just sound beautiful? Like a beautiful way to live? So that's what I'm embracing in my 40s, more of that, more wholehearted living. And I invite you to come join me on my journey and create more of that in your life too, because who wouldn't want more of that juicy stuff in your life? So thanks for being here. Thanks for following on our journey of all the different iterations that Family Brand has been, both on the podcast and in, social media and everything. It's almost been 4 years that we've been podcasting, which is crazy. And it's been such a fun journey and evolution and growth. It's been so much growth. So thanks for being part of our journey. I love you. Have a great week. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the Family Brand podcast. But wait, before you go, I want to give you something. It's something I stole out of our Family Brand Academy because I thought it would make a big difference for you, and I want you to have it for free, no strings attached. It's how we run our family meetings, and not just our family meetings that we have every week, but also our family check-ins, which is this system we've developed for how to connect with our kids and each other, Chris and I, every single week. And we've had some great outcomes with this. Not only have we, but a lot of families that have implemented this have as well. Actually, life-changing outcomes, if I'm being honest. You'll definitely want to get this. Go get your copy at familybrand.com/meeting, and we will catch you next time.